بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين، واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Assalamu alaikum, my beloved ones, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we are going to take today the questions and answers in the annex of Manasik al-Hajj about the sacrifice. Okay, we are done with the pelting the stone on the big pillar of Shaitan. So, question number one. Obviously, there is a difference between Hajj al-Tamattu and Hajj al-Ifrad. In Hajj al-Tamattu, you need to offer a sacrifice. If not, then Quran has mentioned that you fast in substitution of not having sacrifice or not having the money for sacrifice. So, but Hajj al-Ifrad, the one which is for those people who are living in the vicinity of Makkah al-Mukarramah, which doesn't need Umrah. Umrah is separate obligation than Hajj. For them, the sacrifice is not obligated. So basically, we are talking about Hajj al-Tamattu, sacrifice of Hajj al-Tamattu. So he says, if someone is performing mustahab Hajj, not wajib Hajj, okay? Not wajib Hajj, mustahab Hajj. Is it permissible for him to abandon the sacrifice in Mina to reduce the expenses of Hajj? Because the sacrifice costs a lot of money. I mean, a lot of considered amount of money nowadays, costly. You can say because the sacrifice is costly nowadays. He says, if you're performing Hajj al-Tamattu, sacrifice is obligatory. You must offer sacrifice. Even the Hajj is mustahab. So how is Hajj is mustahab and the sacrifice is wajib? Same thing, like when you go to Umrah Mufrada, it's mustahab. Once you say labbaik, every single thing after labbaik, tawaf, salat al-tawaf becomes wajib. But initial foundation is mustahab. But if you miss any segment of this structure, mustahab structure, because you chose to do the structure. So these are interconnected with the structure of Umrah. The same thing, nafila, salat al-layl or any nafila salat, okay? Once you decide to pray mustahab prayer, then you have to do wudu. Without wudu, there's no salah. So it's an interconnected structure. Even initially, if something mustahab, but if you decide to do, then you have to do it right way. You have to do it with its proper structure. Hajj al-mustahab is same like Hajj al-wajib. It's structured. Okay, you did Hajj al-wajib. The intention is different. So everything you do in Hajj al-mustahab, Hajj recommended Hajj, is similar to whatever you do in the obligatory Hajj. So he says it is necessary to sacrifice in Hajj al-Tamattu without any difference between the obligatory Hajj or recommended Hajj. So if someone, this guy is talking about recommended Hajj. So if someone in recommended Hajj was willing to abandon sacrifice, then he can perform Hajj al-Ifrad. He doesn't have to perform Hajj al-Tamattu. Because the first Hajj of a person who's living away from Makkah, we mentioned the distance and everything, that Hajj should be Hajj al-Tamattu. The first Hajj for someone who's living in this vicinity of inside the vicinity of the surrounding, we mentioned certain kilometers, about 80 kilometers inside that circumference, he needs to do Hajj al-Ifrad. This is the first obligatory Hajj. Those who are away, they need to do Hajj al-Tamattu. Those who are near, they need to do Hajj al-Ifrad. However, he says that Hajj mustahab, you don't have to do Hajj al-Tamattu. If you don't want to sacrifice, just do Hajj al-Ifrad. And we discussed these rules all the way in the beginning before 1.5 years or 2 years when we started talking about the introduction about obligation of Hajj al-Tamattu, Hajj al-Ifrad, a long time ago. So, question number 2. If a woman, remember there are some cases where a woman, if she enters her monthly period, okay, in certain cases, her Hajj is converted to Hajj al-Tamattu, is converted to Ifrad, the individual Hajj Ifrad, okay, which requires Umrah Mufrada. So the question is the obligation of sacrifices removed as well? Yes, he said, because by default, Hajj al-Ifrad, no sacrifice. So he says, yes, there is no sacrifice for her. Question number 3. If someone was performing obligatory Hajj al-Tamattu, and did not do the sacrifice out of forgetfulness or unaware about the ruling that he must sacrifice, or no, deliberately, until he came back to his hometown. Is his Hajj invalid, or is it permissible for him to slaughter in his hometown? And is it obligatory that the slaughtering of the sacrifice should be in month of Dhul Hajj of his year, or he can sacrifice in the upcoming year? He says, as for the one who deliberately does not perform the sacrifice until the days of slaughtering are gone. What are the days of slaughtering? Day of Eid, 10th Dhul Hajj, 11th Dhul Hajj, 12th Dhul Hajj, 13th Dhul Hajj. These 3 days are gone, the Hajj becomes invalid. Finish. Invalid, yeah, because any wajib you abandon intentionally, your Hajj becomes invalid. Same like in Salah. Surah Al-Fatiha, you intentionally did not perform it. Your Salat is invalid. But it is not, yeah, it is wajib, though it is not a pillar of Salat, but it is wajib. You have to do it. It's a structure of Salah. But if we forgot Surah Al-Fatiha and went into the ruku', then you are exempt. You can continue Salat. So if somebody forgot or unaware about the ruling is different than somebody intentionally abandons a structure which is a chain interconnected to a wajib. Okay, so if somebody does not do sacrifice intentionally, kiss your Hajj goodbye. Yeah. So that is number 1. He answers that if the days passed, not even month of Dhul Hajj, the days of sacrifice, 10th Dhul Hajj, 11th Dhul Hajj, 12th Dhul Hajj, 13th Dhul Hajj. These are Ayyam al-Tashriq. Remember, spreading of the meat, days of the spreading of the meat. So, for Hajjuhu batil, his Hajj will be invalid. And with this intentional person comes intentionally unaware. That means he doubted, he did not try to find out. Or he deliberately did not learn the Ahkam al-Hajj. Or so he kept himself ignorance, okay, not trying to remove his ignorance. He doubted. You doubted, you need to ask, is sacrifice wajib or not? Ask. No, he just neglected his doubt. So that is it. So if somebody abandons intentionally, or someone who is unaware, intentional unawareness, intentionally ignorance, he chose to be ignorant. So this is obviously their Hajj is invalid. But for the intentional ignorance, say the Sistani has obligatory precaution. That means he can refer to someone else who does not distinguish between 2 types of ignorance, and he would consider his Hajj okay. So what about Sayyidina, about somebody who forgot, or somebody who is unaware, but he tried to learn, but it never came across his mind, or he never doubted about the obligation of sacrifice. So he says, and this rule, you see that even for the pelting of the stone of Jamrat al-Aqaba, it's a one theme. Okay. So he says, if he remembers or realizes, when? After the days of tashriq, after the days of sacrifice, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, 4 days. So if he remembers, because he had forgotten, or he realizes after the days of tashriq, before the month of Dhul Hajj is over, okay, then on the basis of obligatory precaution, he needs to combine between slaughtering in Makkah and fasting instead of the sacrifice, and Hajj is correct. So Sayyidina, why? I mean, why to do fasting? Fasting is for somebody who did not find sacrifice. Okay. So but he forgot. Looks like he did not get sacrifice. Like you can shape it in a way that his unawareness was a cause that caused him missing the sacrifice or forgetting. So like he did not intentionally leave sacrifice, because if somebody doesn't have money, if somebody cannot find sacrifice, all the goats are gone in the market. So there are reasons for someone who unintentionally cannot do sacrifice. So there the reason he was unintentional and he did not do the sacrifice because of his unintentional. So should we tell him to fast, or should we tell him to do the sacrifice in this day of Tashriq in Makkah, okay, after the days of Tashriq? Because in the day of Tashriq, khalas, do the sacrifice. But you did not do the sacrifice in the days of Tashriq. So what will happen? Then so وكذلك الجاهل المقصر وأما الناسي والجاهل, and as for the one who forgot, or the one who is unintentional who has unintentional unawareness, was unaware unintentionally, not deliberately. If he realizes the ruling, or he remembers that he has to sacrifice in the days of Tashriq, after the days of Tashriq, in the days of Tashriq, sacrifice. But now we are talking, you remembered after the days of Tashriq, before the month of Dhul Hajj ends. The obligatory precaution, slaughter in Makkah plus fast instead of the sacrifice. Substitute those 10 days of fasting in substitute of sacrifice, in replacement of sacrifice, and his Hajj will be correct. However, what if he remembers it after the month of Dhul Hajj? If he remembers after the month of Dhul Hajj, his Hajj will be correct. Okay. However, it is necessary for him to next year come and slaughter in Mina. Number one. Okay. So if he doesn't, obviously, representative can also offer the sacrifice on his behalf next year. As for slaughtering in his hometown, or slaughtering other than the month of Dhul Hajj, then it is ineffective in every case. There's no effect for it. That means the sacrifice has not been done. So the sacrifice needs to be done in Mina, not in hometown, and the sacrifice needs to be done in the month of Dhul Hajj, if not on the day of Eid, month of Dhul Hajj, the upcoming year. Okay. If someone did not believe that sacrifice is not obligatory, okay, why? Because it is a waste. He said, like nowadays we have a lot of muftis around floating here and there. They have some mind philosophical. My logic says I don't need to sacrifice, you see. My logic says that it will be waste. Just khalas. So he did not do sacrifice. He did the taqsir, okay, or shaved or taqsir, and exited his ihram. So what is his ruling? The Mr. Philosopher. Okay, we have lots of like that, unfortunately. The answer: immediately take off your stitched dress. Immediately, because you are still in the state of ihram. Because you did not sacrifice, you cannot exit the state of ihram. That is in a rare cases, like you miss unintentionally and all those kind of things. But here you intentionally did not do sacrifice. So you are still in the state of ihram. So remove the stitch attire immediately. Avoid all the prohibitions of ihram. Okay. And slaughter quickly before the days of tashriq. 4 days are 4 days pass. If he does not, this Mr. Philosopher, if he does not slaughter until those 4 days have passed, his Hajj will be invalid on the basis of obligatory precaution. After that, if he slaughters, no use. The month of Dhul Hajj for who? It is for those people who forgot or unintentional unawareness. Not like these people are intentionally not sacrificing. Okay. So kisses Hajj goodbye on the basis of obligatory precaution. No, toba. Let me just sacrifice now. Those 4 days have passed. We're in the 14th of Dhul Hajj. No, Allah knows my heart. Baba, you do whatever you do. Religiously, your Hajj is invalid on the basis of obligatory precaution. Find a marja who will consider your Hajj okay. Okay. But according to the evidences, Sayyidi Sistani hesitates here. So he considers the Hajj invalid. But still, he allows, gives some flexibility to the person to go and refer to someone else who's next in line in Alamiya. So he says, if those 4 days have passed, the slaughtering will not be sufficient, neither the fasting in replacement of hadi, a fasting in exchange with hadi, with the sacrifice. Question number 5. Someone, again, another Mr. Philosopher, or his guide is Mr. Philosopher. He says somebody who is performing Hajj al-Tamattu, he saw that so many goats and so many sheep, so many sacrifices, they're going waste. Okay. So Mr. Some wise guy said that, just go back to hometown and slaughter your goat there. Slaughter your sacrifice there. So he did. So will his slaughtering of sacrifice in his hometown be sufficient? He says no. The Hajj will be invalid. The Hajj, not even sacrifice, the entire Hajj will be invalid on the basis of obligatory precaution. Unless if he was unintentional, ignorant, like his awareness was unintentional, unaware unintentionally. In that case, he needs to combine between slaughtering in Makkah, okay, and in the remaining days of Dhul Hajj, not after Dhul Hajj. And then after that, fasting the remaining day, fasting the substitute days for replacement for the sacrifice. Whoever performs Hajj al-Tamattu and did not slaughter, thinking that he has an option. This is again another Mr. Philosopher. You see, reads Quran. Oh, Quran gives option, slaughtering, and then, or somehow he took from the air, whatever. So from wherever. So he said that, I think it's you have an option either to slaughter and either to fast. Slaughtering is costly, fasting is cheap. Let me take the fasting. And he's able to. So now what will happen? Okay. will it be okay to send the money of sacrifice to Mina or Makkah, so that they can slaughter on his behalf in the upcoming year, or he needs to redo the Hajj? So if he was negligence in learning the Islamic laws about Hajj, okay, or learning the rules of Hajj, his negligence. Where are you going? Shopping, I have to shop we are traveling to Makkah and Medina. So miss the classes here. In Makkah and Medina we have classes, Makkah we have classes. Where? Oh, my mom has asked for something. My dad, I need to do some shopping. So shopping here, shopping there, kiss your Hajj goodbye. So this is negligence when it is announced, when you enroll for Hajj, it is announced and you are told that we are going to hold classes of Hajj, and yet you don't pay attention. Now there's no Hajj. Now you're getting it on online, internet. Don't tell me, oh, the masjid is far. Oh, we don't have masjid. Oh, we don't have Maulana. Everything is online. Okay. So if you're negligent about learning the manasik al-Hajj, then obviously you are intentionally ignorant, intentionally unaware. You kept yourself unaware intentionally. So he says that about the idea, okay? His idea was, I have an option. So if he was shortcoming in learning the ruling, then his Hajj will be incorrect. It will be invalid. Even if he slaughters next year on the basis of obligatory precaution. However, if he was not negligent, okay, or he was unaware, however, he was trying to learn, but this does not come in his mind, or somehow some some Maulana whom he trusts, he gave him this kind of fatwa or something like that. So if he realizes about the ruling before the end of month of the Hajj, then on the basis of obligatory precaution, he needs to combine between slaughtering in Makkah and fasting. And if the month of the Hajj is passed, so what should he do? Then he realized, then next year, inshallah, he can slaughter. Question number 7. If someone must redo the sacrifice for some reason, for some errors done, and he did not do intentionally, will his Hajj be invalid? He says, if he does not slaughter until the days of slaughtering are done, obviously, most apparently, his Hajj will be invalid. Place of sacrifice. Where should a person? Mina, a person should sacrifice. But nowadays, they took everything out of Mina for the cleanliness, for this, for crowd, for more hujjat, for more tents. So he says those mountains which are surrounding Mina, okay, which are part of Mina, is it permissible to slaughter on those mountains, because those mountains are border of Mina, part of Mina? He says Mina is not mountain. Okay, Mina is valley. Mina is between two mountains. The mountains are not part of Mina. He says Mina ism lil wadi. Mina is a name of valley, down, not up. Valley is normally down, below the mountain. والجبال المحيطة بها من بعض الجهات لا تعد جزءا. So some mountains, small mountains inside the valley are considered Mina. But other mountains, okay, which surrounds Mina from some directions, they are not considered. They're not considered Mina. And you saw that we saw the map. It seemed like a valley, and then there's Wadi Muhassir, okay, like Muzdalifa border, and then so you see Mina and Muzdalifa. They both are like surrounded by chains of mountains, and there are like small mountains there inside the valley. So he says that the surrounding والجبال المحيطة بها. Some of the sides, Mina is surrounded by mountains. Those are not Mina. Those are not part of Mina. Those are surrounding Mina. Mina is a valley. If someone doubts, because one must sacrifice in Mina, if someone doubts that this place is Mina or not Mina, is it permissible to slaughter there? He says if the doubt was based on a confusion about the place, then you need to double check. You need to verify it. Okay. That is this place called Mina? You're confused. You need to double check. And if no, they told you this is Mina. Okay. But here the confusion was due to the lack of satisfaction. We don't know these borders of Mina are really taken from the ancestors after ancestor, like generations after generation. So if you doubt, if you don't have satisfaction that these borders which are made, remember those signs which say Mina, entrance of Mina, exit of Mina. These signs, if you doubt that these are not taken from generations after generation, long time, then it is problematic to suffice the limits marked by these marks, by these boards saying entering Mina, exiting Mina. So these boards, you need to have satisfaction. If you don't have satisfaction, then obviously slaughtering will be problematic. On the basis of obligatory precaution, one should not slaughter in this area which are doubtful, regardless if the doubt was based on the application or no. They told him that this is Mina, but the problem is he doesn't know that this is out of Mina or in Mina, like this place. And question number 3, some Hujjaj might be able to, okay, might be able to like seep a boat in, like smuggle a boat in, not boat, goat. Someone, they might be able to smuggle a goat in, covering their face, giving them some kind of tranquilizer so they don't make sounds of bah, something like that. So anyhow, they smuggle the goat there, and then once that goat woke up, the effect of tranquilizer, Bismillah wallahu akbar. So they say that some of the Hujjaj might be able to slaughter in Mina without any harm inflicting them, except it's going to be against the law. So there's one rule against the law. There's another rule. If you go against the law, you may be harmed. So if going against the law and to fulfill the Sharia is not going to cause harm, then you don't have to follow the law. Because the Sunni Shia, everybody says you have to slaughter Mina, but due to some reason, there is a kind of systemization of Mina. Okay, they want to make a proper system, which is very much respected. However, so say the Sistani says it is not obligatory. Okay, because as long as there's no harm, nobody will fine you, nobody will take you, nobody will arrest you, nobody will do that, then it is okay. Just even though he says it's recommended, it's a precautionary measure. لا يجب, it is not obligatory. So he says that فهل يقدم ذلك على الذبح? Should a person keep the prevalence of law over the slaughtering, okay, على الذبح في وادي محصر مع افتراض جواز الذبح فيه أيضا لضيق منى. So now we have Mina, we have Wadi Muhassir, the valley, which is the border of Mina and Muzdalifah. So he said that perhaps it is permissible, okay, perhaps it, so is it obligatory to, so let's rephrase the question. Sometimes it may be possible for some of the Hujjaj to slaughter inside Mina without having any problem, without any inflicting any problem on them, except for going against the system. So should he slaughter in the valley of Muhassir, assuming that it is permissible in that valley because it is the Mina is very tight and they cannot, so at least they can jump up a little bit in the valley of Muhassir. He says it is not obligatory, even though it is a precautionary measure to do that, but it's not obligatory. So wherever you find, you can just so here it is not obligatory to the question is, should he give prevalence to the slaughtering over going against the system, or what? He says it is not obligatory to go against the system because this la yajib, it is not obligatory, even though it is a precautionary measure from one aspect. So it is not obligatory, however, it is precautionary measure. It is not obligatory to what? The question was to do prevalence to slaughtering over the system. Okay. Where slaughtering? In the valley of Muhassir. ربما يتيسر لبعض الحجاج الذبح في داخل منى. Perhaps it may be feasible for some of the Hujjaj to slaughter inside Mina without having any problem, any problematic situation, except for going against the system. So should that person slaughter in the valley of Muhassir, assumingly that it is permissible to slaughter in it? He said, no, it is not obligatory to slaughter in Mina, even though it's a precautionary measure. Question number 4. You gave fatwa of permissibility to slaughter in Wadi Muhassir Valley. Now, just to remind you, this is Mina, and at the end of Makkah, Mina, all this, and then we had Muzdalifah here, and then you go further, Arafat. So Muzdalifah and Mina, the body was attached, and there's Wadi Muhassir, valley of Muhassir, okay, so which was the border of Muzdalifah and Mina. So you are not slaughtering in Mina, you are going out of Mina in Wadi Muhassir. So, and so Sayyidi Sistani Damadullah and some other Maraja, they say if you can't slaughter in Mina, you can come in Wadi Muhassir, valley of Muhassir, which is as close as possible to Mina. So he says in question that you gave permission to slaughter in Wadi Muhassir if Mina becomes tight and it was not able to, the slaughterhouse inside Mina was not able to cater all the Hujjaj. So is this, according to your diagnosis, valid, that Mina is not does not have the capacity to take the slaughtering of all the Hujjaj. He says it appears that some of the slaughtering houses, okay, slaughtering areas، يبدو أن نقل المجازر وبعض المخيمات it seems that they transmitted the slaughtering houses and some of the tents of Hujjaj in the valley of Muhassir. It's due to the tightness of Mina. There's no place in Mina to slaughter, sufficient for all the Hujjaj, in a way that they could provide all the conditions such as security and safety. So with security and safety, all the Hujjaj comes in that slaughterhouse, which is a small area of Mina. They pack that area, people will die. In pelting the stone, when there's crowd, people, they start falling from the bridge and they die. So Sayyidi Sistani Damodullah says that the reason they kept it out, due to the safety and security of in Mina, or for Hujjaj in Mina, because Mina does not have the capacity. The slaughterhouse in Mina does not have the capacity to cater all these Hujjaj. And there is question number 5 also similar, so we will take that and we'll call it a day. You have given fatwa that it is permissible to slaughter in valley of Muhassir when Mina becomes tight and does not have the capacity to cater all the Hujjaj. So it is permissible that a person goes immediately to the valley of Muhassir, knowing that the tightness of the slaughterhouse in Mina does not last long. At some time the crowd will be done, so it does not last long until the days of Tashriq. Maybe second day, third day you go, you see there's not that many people buying and the sheeps and goats and camels and cows. So he said that rather the crowd becomes less on the 12th and there's no crowd at all on the 13th. So what is the should they wait or no? From the beginning they can go to valley of Muhassir. He says the criteria to slaughter in the valley of Muhassir, due to the tightness of Mina, due to the tightness of Mina, and inability of Mina, the capacity of Mina does not allow all the Hujjaj to slaughter in Mina. It is when a person is intending to slaughter, that's the time. If you are intending to slaughter on the 10th, it's packed, you can slaughter in valley of Muhassir. If you're going to slaughter, your intention is to slaughter on 12th day because of the reasons and this and that, we saw that sometimes the slaughtering happens late. So if you're intending to slaughter on 12th, where there's no crowd in Mina, then slaughter in Mina. You see? So he says it is not about the day or the date or the time. It is about when does a person who's performing Hajj is intending to slaughter. If it's in the day of Eid he wants to slaughter, it's packed Mina, go to valley of Muhassir. Yeah. And it says it is not necessary for him to delay until the last moments of Ayyam al-Tashriq, those 4 days, end of the 4 days, so that he can perform the slaughtering in Mina. If he delays it until the crowd becomes less in Mina, then it would not be permissible for him to slaughter in valley of Muhassir. Then it would be necessary for that person to slaughter in Mina, with his ability to do so. So that's the thing. So now we know that Wadi Muhassir, Valley of Muhassir, is out of Mina, and there's a permissibility if Mina becomes tight. So is this tight general? That means if let's say in 12th day or 11th day before sunset, because it has to be before sunset in the daytime, it becomes okay. I mean, the crowd is less in the slaughterhouse in Mina. So he says it depends on when do you want to slaughter. If you want to slaughter in Mina, if you want to slaughter on 10th al-Hajj and the slaughterhouse in Mina is packed, then go and slaughter in Valley of Muhassir. If you want to slaughter in on 12th al-Hajj, and that's also after Dhuhr, the slaughterhouse is almost empty, then you can slaughter your but when you delay the slaughtering, you need to delay also the things which are depending on slaughtering, such as the exiting the state of ihram. You have to delay. And in some cases, he said that if you have purchased the goat of sacrifice, then you can even before slaughtering the goat of sacrifice, you can go ahead and shave. In certain exceptional cases, we did. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين.